Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Learn Forensics. So in this series we will be learning for UGC NET JRF in forensic science. So I am starting with the Unit 1 Introduction to Forensic Science. So let's start with it. So forensic science is nothing but the application of scientific knowledge for justice. So it is derived from a Latin term forum or call it forensis, which means nothing but gathering of people to seek justice. So forensic science is a scientific discipline which is direct to the recognition, identification, individualization and evaluation of physical evidences, ठीक that are related to the crime scenes, to resolve by the application of principle of natural sciences. Natural sciences that include physical sciences, chemical sciences, and biological sciences to administer justice for justice. Next, we have need of forensic science. Why do we need forensic science? So, first we have identifying suspects. Forensic science helps law enforcement to identify suspect by analyzing evidence from crime scene. For example, if a fingerprint is found at a crime scene, it can be marked to a suspect. Example, in a certain case, a fingerprint left on a glass led to the identification and arrest of the suspect. So that's why we need forensic science. Next, we have to establish timelines. Forensic science make it easier to establish the timeline of the crime. Blood spatter analysis can determine the time of the crime. Example, in a robbery case, blood spatter pattern confirmed that the crime occurred around 2 a.m. So this is a real case, I'm just telling you. Next, to reconstruct events. Forensic science helps in reconstructing the event leading to the crime. Accident reconstruction can reveal how accident happened. In hit-and-run cases, tire marks and vehicle damage were analyzed to recreate the accident scenarios. Next, we have to verify circumstances. Forensic science helps law enforcement to understand the circumstances for a crime. There's a famous saying in forensic science that facts do not lie, but witness do, men do. Also, forensic science helps absolve innocent people from suspicion. Next, they uncover the digital evidence that can be important in criminal investigation. For example, deleted emails or messages can be recovered to advance the investigation. Next, to decode firearm evidence. Forensic science help understand the role of firearms in a crime by examining ballistic evidence. For example, analyzing a bullet case, gunpowder residue can identify the weapon used. Next, we have to trace financial crime. Forensic science can help trace financial crimes in an organization. A forensic accountant can solve fraud and embezzlement case by analyzing the records to uncover the truth. So friends, these are some way forensic science are needed by the law. Next, we have history and development of forensic science. This is very important part. There's so many questions that come from these parts. So you just have to learn it, but I'll read it out for you. So in 17th century, Archimedes detected the fraud in golden crown using the principle of density and buoyancy. It was the first ever reported case. Next, in 19th and 20th century, forensic science gained its popularity. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, uh, the author of Sherlock Holmes novel, highlighted the practical forensic application in criminal investigation. Next, we have some scientists. First, we have Matthew Orfila, father of forensic toxicology. He studied the effect of poisons on animals and also the detection of them. Uh, he's the pioneer of forensic toxicology. Next, we have Alfonso Bertolon. He is the father of personal identification. He started to develop scientific anthropometry. Anthropometry is basically the science of measuring the human body, including its size, weight, and shape. This has later been replaced by the fingerprint. Later, we started using fingerprints as a method of personal identification. He's considered as father of criminal investigation, though criminal investigation. Next, we have Francis Galton. He is the father of fingerprints. He is responsible for the present system of identification by fingerprint. Next, we have Hans Braun. He utilized various scientific, he incorporated various scientific technique into the criminal investigation. Next one, we have Edmund Locard. He gave the principle of exchange of particles. Next, we have Albert Osborne. He's the father of question document examination. Next, we have Leon Lattice. Leon Lattice was the first one to devise a simpler procedure for determining the blood group from a blood stain. Karl Landsteiner was the first one to discover blood groups. Next, we have this is wrong actually. This is Calvin Goddard. He was the first one to compare the fire bullet. He is considered as the father of forensic ballistics. Why am I writing? Next, we start with the principle of forensic science. We have principle of individuality, which says every object is unique. No two objects can be duplicated or can be same. For example, a handwriting of each person is different because they apply different type of pressure on the paper, the spacing between words, and how they form a letter, the size of the letter, all these things are individual and unique to that individual. Next, we have principle A of exchange given by Edmund Locard. So when two objects come in contact, they leave traces on each other. This is what this principle says. We can find this in case of tool marks, uh, dust, paint chips in hit and run cases, fibers from the victim's clothes, and skin of the culprit in the nails of the victim, etc. Next, we have law of progressive change. According to this law, everything changes with the passage of time. In other words, nothing is permanent and invariable. For example, there is also a rapid change occurring in the crime scene. After some time, the crime scene becomes totally unrecognizable, and also there is a chance of physical evidence being lost or tampered or destroyed. Next, we have principle of comparison. Only lives can be compared. There is a possibility of comparison only when there are things which are similar. Okay, next we have next we have principle of analysis. There is no better analysis than the sample analysis. For example, in the case of semen analysis, the investigating officer collecting the blood stained cloth will not be of any use. When the explosive material has to be tested, then it should be residual material collected from the scene of occurrence, the explosion, which has the material substance of the explosion. There would be no use of testing the soil alone for the establishing the identity of explosive. So for that we need to do the proper sampling. Next, we have principle of probability. This is principle is based on the fact that all identification where definite may be done on the basis of probability. Probability is a mathematical concept. It determines the chance of occurrence of a particular event in a particular way out of the number of which the event can take place. For example, to identify a dead body of a spectacled woman nose piercing with the tattoo marks In the right arm, the probability of identification is for a spectacle human, it is 1 by 5,000. For a nose piercing, it is 1 by 20,000. And a tattoo mark on right arm is 1 by 1,000. We'll multiply this and find the probability will be 1 probability for this. Next, we have law of circumstantial evidence, which say fact do not lie, men can and do. So eyewitness in a particular crime may turn hostile, but physical evidence will not change. Oral testimony of a witness is modified by external influence like threat, emotional blackmail, influence of money, power, muscle power, but the material evidence will be unchanged. The presence of a seminal stain over the garments of the victim of the sexual assault may reveal the episode of what would have happened. The presence of poisonous substance in the biological tissue established the administration of the same. Thank you so much for being with me. This is the end of part one. We'll come up with the next video. Thank you so much.